What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 30 of my Total War Warhammer 3 a modded Imrik Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Tyrion and Alariel teamed up, a little husband and wife tag team on the Galleon's graveyard, saw the Galleon's graveyard fall and the Dreadfleet be destroyed. It was a nice little get-together, and while they still don't have both of their complete armies yet, they're certainly moving towards it. Now, we left off the end of the episode with another dragon encounter. This is one of the sort of generic dragon encounters, as obviously we've done the legendary dragons already, but it's still potential for a rather nice fight. So we're going to take it, especially since this is Arwenel and Michaela's army, and they surely deserve to have a good fight. Before we get started, though, one quick note. At this point in time, I'm trying to make a decision as to which of the campaigns to move to the second channel, and which of the campaigns to keep with half an hour in episodes, and which of the campaigns to keep the hour-longs going. So that decision will be made in the next couple of days while we wait for SFO updates and all that sort of stuff. So do keep it in mind, and don't forget to drop those likes and comments below if you're enjoying Imrik and want to keep it around on this side of the Shadow Realm and on the longer episodes. But anyway, Likamoita. Okay, we're going to attack you. Die. Alrighty, here we go. Just a small battle, I guess. It may be a dragon, but a generic dragon nonetheless, for Michaela and Arwenel. And damn, Gordonar still looks absolutely monstrous, as it's got a bigger model than the regular fire dragons. On top of it, this will probably be one of the last fights in this current form for this particular army, since we're getting 2 more fire phoenixes, at least 1 more fire dragon, maybe another fire mage, and depending on if we can fit one in, as well as those Phoenix Guard in here. So definitely gonna get some good stuff. And speaking of fire, everything burns. The burning head, the flame storm, the fiery convocation, all as fire breaths from the dragons come down as well. The enemy burns, and I don't think this Star Dragon is going to have much of a pile of units to support it before long. Absolutely beautiful. And at least 1 more fire breath, I believe, or was that the last one? I suppose it doesn't matter. We also have the fire bombs from the Phoenix, just finding any units that survived the onslaught of flames and adding a little bit more burnination. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Man, do I love fire armies. They're always so entertaining. Anyway, in the meantime, the Star Dragon has closed the distance, and the fire units are mobbing it, mostly to try to not interfere with the other units, as in with the Eagle Claws, which are the only things that are firing at this point. There we go, and there's that Moon Dragon Breath, a little bit different from the regular Fire Dragon Breaths, but cleaning up the rest of those units. The balance of power shifts rapidly to about 90% in our favor, and the Star Dragon, having taken about half of its HP and damage to the Phoenixes and the Dragons, will now be allowed to draw a little bit closer to us. We're going to pop that fire damage buff, the Embers of the Phoenix, on the Sisters of Avalorn, bumping their missile strength up to 109, and if we wanted to, we could probably have bumped it up even further should we have desired to use the regular Flaming Sword of Ruin as well. Anyway, the Star Dragon approaches, but it gets brought down by the Talons of Tor-Kaleda and the Sisters of Avalorn. Magical and regular fire arrows mixing nice, and hey, look at that, a unit actually managed to survive the flames to, well, maybe not approach our army, but sort of slowly walk towards it before naturally getting obliterated. And it's too bad we don't have more units with that weakness to fire damage. It's really too bad that the Karakatrin dwarfs did not level up their damn settlement, which meant that we couldn't get flame cannons, because they would fit in very, very nicely with this. But, oh well, we'll try to get some salamanders, or ancient salamanders, or fire leech bolas, or something. Look at the train of fire flyers. Beautiful. Anyway, down goes the generic dragon, and we get some nice rewards. Alrighty, a nice little fight, lots of domination from our dragons and phoenixes, as well as Michaela and Arwenel, and for once we let Arwenel take the lead, or Arwenel, whatever, in terms of dishing out the spell work, and just let Michaela take a back seat. I'd like to think that she's showing Arwenel the ropes with regards to how to burn a knight. Anyway, we are going to, I guess, ransom the captives, because this is just a little dragon encounter. And we should get a nice ward save reward for our trouble. Alright, and hello. We also get a brass horn. Stand or die. Yes, nice. Nice. And leadership or effect size. The ward save is going to help out. A little bit of influence. Can't say no to that either. Alright, now. I guess we gotta start from the top. This was, yeah, it's the same turn, so Imrik, you've already moved. You gotta wait until all the million Arcan Tomb Kings move on towards us, followers of Nagash, whatever. Ooh! Hey, Skull Reef is around here. I didn't even notice that. Alright, we should send our new... the heck? Azazel, right. I remember you being down here. You're probably gonna go for Zvorak. Fortunately, Zvorak does have a defensive structure, including eagles and some decent stuff. We don't know what's in your army, but, well, it doesn't mean we can't summon a lord. Let's summon a basic life lord. As in one... oh my lord, they're expensive. Spell resistance, construction cost. Let's do the construction cost one. I don't want to summon a lord that already exists in case it would be... well, then again... Spirit Leech is also an option. Ah, but you're a builder, I wouldn't want to lose you. It really depends on what's in Azazel's army. Yeah, nonetheless. All life is generally the one we get for just random sort of doing stuff. Let's do you. Miradrin Meddler. You can go here, and we'll get you Awakening of the Wood, and definitely Shield of Thorns, Earthblood, and Life Bloom. The important ones. Not a lot of other spells. Are you able to reach us in one turn? Maybe. Kind of hard to say. Anyway, I'm glad I looked over here. You, Admiral Yavathol. You were the one that I was thinking of. I should also probably be doing all of this in order. Oh, we could head you down to Azazel, but it does depend on whether you can reach him or not. Svaltrol the Black-Hearted. Would you be able to take... no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. You wouldn't dare. Okay, I guess we're going to march stance you down here. Even if Azazel does manage to take Zvorak, we can get it back up and running real quick with Admiral Yavathol. And Recruiter Fernhavas, just stay here. I would like you to actually keep recruiting, but you know what? We'll see what the money situation is like at the end of the turn. These guys wouldn't be able to take Ackendorf anyway, so... I mean, I suppose they could in theory besiege it, but we'll see. Back to doing stuff in order, shall we? Fayadien, you... I need to meet up with these things. Let's start moving you down here until you get your units. Recruiter Zamdilla will have... ooh, wait, that reminds me. Yeah, we got one turn left. Alright, so we need to switch to Rebuild Lost Splendor now. And then the growers are good here. Like so and like so. And then we should be able to build up the Black Fortress set to tier 5 and get access to those missing tier 5 units. You are going to hunt down Ekugex, which is the remnant of that army of Kolex. Alright, well done, J-Address, and we will once again ransom those captives. Alright, I guess you can head down here as well, because you'll be... march stance. You'll be suffering attrition, that's what you'll be. We have no choice in the matter, do we? Well, I'm sure the Phoenixes will heal up elsewhere. I'd rather not waste the time, so you're gonna take a little bit of attrition. Enemy killed in battle, an Earthing Rod, and we are good. We probably do want to trade the Valley of Horns. Oh, I suppose we could send Fadian round to take Karakazorn. Certainly a possibility. And trade it to our little friends here, the ogres. Yeah, anyway, back to trying to do things in order. Recruiter Fernharvest, we may or may not get back to you. Arathon, you should be ready to take Bordelot. It will mean declaring war on the Fekendites. Now, the Fekendites are currently in a defensive alliance with the Warherd of the One Eye, who is completely irrelevant to us. I say we have no problem attacking this. Am I missing anything? No, I don't think so. In fact, we may want to not draw our allies into a war with the Fekendites at the current time. The fact is a lot of them aren't at war with them right now. And the Fecund Knights are only at war with the Barrow Legion and Lorelorn, which actually works for us. We might be able to force the Fecund Knights into a war with a bunch of chaos factions via the court intrigue or intrigued court, whatever. And we just need to save up a little bit of cash. So let's try it that way. We'll call our allies. We'll not rather call our allies to help. We'll hit Festus. And we'll take Bordelot and we'll hope that Erathon doesn't get that plague on him. And go. Basically no damage, that's appropriate, and occupy the place, and then immediately leave so that you don't get the plague. I assume there's nobody around. We could do the plague ship thing and just make him leave the settlement altogether. That's probably a better idea. Or we could channel out to... Nah, I'd rather not risk the plague. Go here, and then stay there. And then we can uncollect the income here and build it. I'm just going to assume that nobody is actually in range of Erathon. Good. Next up, who do we have? Belharathoi. Wait. We should probably move Arwenel after all that. You could actually go into Agrul Migdal and then move next turn. Rodar. I forgot what I was doing with you. I think I was going to have you ferry something. Oh, right. I was going to have you ferry Shakalot. Alright, fine. Start moving this way and ferry Shakalot. These guys can't reach it, can they? I mean, I suppose we wouldn't care even if they could, so just go there anyway, sir. Alright, and there's probably buildings to be built here, but we'll deal with that later. Belharathoi, back to you, Kent. You need to reach Dagrak, and ooh, looks like you can just draw out Fregnus Ironcast. We might be able to defeat these guys here. Now that's a question. We have a lot of Chaos Warriors and Chosen here, which would make it a tough battle. You know what? Move Influencer here. Why is this guy even out here? I was wondering if there would be a full stack here, but there isn't one. Curious. Is there another hiding one? It doesn't look like it. Secure Influence. Good. Dydraris. Merchant Lord. Thank you. Do we risk it? Here's the problem. If Belharathoi cannot reach the settlement after we win the fight, presuming that we do win the fight, and considering we won't be able to take advantage of our Vanguard deployment, it still might be something of a problem. Also, do we want to give that ring, that brass gold, what was it called? The Winged Boots, Helm of Cain, no, not the Chest of Sustenance, which was Imrik, but the Brass Horn. We have a lot of these things coming up now. I kind of don't want to look into the items too much anymore, because it's starting to get confusing. We have so many all over the place, and I don't want to retool anything, but, well, we got new armies coming up, so we can always trade new stuff to new armies. Herathoi. Frankly, on a Moondragon, you could probably use something a little bit better than the Helm of Discord. But the Crown of Authority, or the Chest of Sustenance, or the Brass Horn, none of them can go on you, because you have the Moranian's Way Shard, which we need for that Vanguard deployment. And this guy has our second Gilded Horn of Galan Canuck rather, which we also probably need here. Nonetheless. I wonder if these guys would still be willing to fight if we move this army in to reinforce. It would prevent us from taking a lot of casualties, but then if these guys weren't willing to fight, it wouldn't be quite as nice. It's a lot of Chosen. How many more turns do we have on Brew War's Instincts? 6. Nah, just do it.
Purest sorcery.
And just do it. Alright, let's level you up just in case. What are you missing? So you have the Dwellers below, which may be needed against the Chosen, but we gotta go with Absolute Control for that cooldown reduction and win some magic cost reduction. Let's see if these guys can take on Chosen now. Why do I keep doing this to this army? I probably should have moved Dydraris in as well, but it's too late, whatever. We didn't need him before, and we probably don't need him now. Oh, Pyrrhic Victory. It would lose 2 of our spears. We could replace them with their high rank, and you know what? They've earned their lives with Belharathoi, so go. Alright, no speech from Belharathoi apparently, but that's alright. We're gonna start the battle off Vanguard deployed as we usually do. We won't be able to take advantage of it for most of this battle, I should say. Just this little tiny army. So, we gotta make the best of it and kill off the enemy lord and this little pile of warhounds before they can do too much. The enemy lord, the Chaos Lord, takes about half of its HP and damage, but does manage to close the distance, and we gotta be careful about this, as the range units will kill off our own if we're not careful. Fortunately, the enemy lord will, well, get pushed down and will break just as he activates demonic strength. Oh, maybe that's why he was not taking as much damage as we otherwise might have been doing. I suppose there's also the shield to consider and the fact that, well, we are still using basics archers, so they're not doing a lot of armor-piercing damage. High Elven archers moved into Rampage, which caused a few of them to be destroyed via the friendly fire, but that's alright. That's not the real battle. The real battle is coming in with those Chosen and Chaos Warriors and whatnot. Here they come. We're going to start the, well, second round off. Call the first portion of the enemy a Vanguard, with a Dwellers Below on the enemy. The enemy will seek to escape it, but will be forced to move into a Gehenna's Golden Hounds, which we're hoping will do decent damage to those Chaos Knights. Gehenna's Golden Hounds matching very nicely with that Moon Dragon Breath, and will do decent damage to those Chaos Knights and force the Forsaken into a Rampage. One of the Chaos Knights at least is going to book it down out of there. I don't know if they'll escape. In fact, maybe I shouldn't have done this so that we could have chased them down with the Illyrian Reavers. But oh well. Looking like we got some decent damage out of Belharathoi, up to 28k, and it looks like the first of the units of Chaos Knights is barreling towards us. Smartly, perhaps, they're using the cover of the trees. The trees will, well, they'll slow them down and they'll debuff them. But on the other hand, the trees will also block a lot of our range fire. That said, it looks like these guys were hurt enough that they won't be able to get towards our army. On the bright side for the enemy army, however, they acted as a shield for the Chosen and the Chaos Warriors, which really aren't going to be particularly scared of our High Elven archers with not even heavy arrowheads. And the enemy keeps using these darn fire bombardment abilities. Fires of Chaos, I think the ability is called. And we constantly have to move around our army. Fortunately, I think this is the first time that I didn't have all of our units get hit by those, because I was specifically watching for it this time. I wasn't even really controlling the rest of the army over much, which is why the archers aren't really targeting individual units. They're just let do their own thing. I was too worried about them getting hit by the fires. Anyway, I believe that's the third use, and third use means that they have no more. Chaos Knights have rallied and have moved in together with Chosen. And then we got basic spears facing off against Chaos Knights and Chosen. This army is hilarious. But hey, they're still surviving, and Belharathoi continues to lead them into victory. We do use the Shield of Thorns to get a little bit of that melee damage reflection on our line of spears, as they damn well need it to sort of close the gap in between the capabilities of Chosen and Chaos Knights and the spears. The enemy does look to be trying to flank us, as a unit of Chaos Warriors and a unit of Chosen with halberds are moving in and are closing the distance fairly rapidly. Gotta be careful about those. The enemy is in a nice, neat line here. Damn, if we only had a fiery convocation to move through that. We should put a Kane's Ring of Fury or whatever it is in this particular army. Or they could just keep trying to survive in their current manner. And hey, we're still holding that hill with that staunch spear line, and they're doing pretty darn decent. Can't forget that despite them being regular spears, 77 melee defense is pretty darn solid, and the enemy is having a hard time getting through that. I do believe the enemy lord is also gone, either down or at least attempted to escape. Here's the noble and Belharathoi attempted to focus him down. The enemy, however, is flanked us, and we had to move our Illyrian Reavers in just temporarily to block the oncoming onslaught of Chosen and Chaos Warriors. We're going to pop a Gehenna's Golden Hounds in their way, start dropping ballista bolts and arrows from above, and repositioning a couple of units of spears from our front line in order to try to prevent these guys from getting coming to us. Time for another Dwellers Below, not just to dish out damage, armor-piercing damage at that, but also to slow the enemy down and prevent these Chaos Warriors from reaching our lines. Fortunately, it looks like the Dwellers Below does the job, and frankly, the enemy army is already in pretty darn bad shape. Well, I do say already, but it's been a fairly decently long battle, as these spears have been holding for quite the while. Got to love that lore of life. The melee damage reflection, the constant healing, keeping even basic units alive. Unfortunately, though, the Illyrian Reavers are forced to move in, just like our archers below. Whatever that ability is causing them to go into Rampage, the Feral Rage. Which is quite annoying, as these guys are obviously too fragile to be fighting Chosen. Especially on the front line. Probably the second most fragile melee unit on the roster after Rangers. Although maybe Rangers have more HP, I'm not entirely sure. Well, either way. And the bounce power is at about 90% in our favor now, and frankly, well, actually it's about 100%, as the enemy army will shatter, and the battle will be ours. 3 of our units up front are rampaging, and we're still going to have to try to do our best to chase the enemy down, while random units rampage. Kind of an annoying aspect to the Feral Rage is also the fact that miscasts that do damage to you, like so, cause the mage to rampage as well, which could be very, very dangerous in the wrong circumstances. Good way to get your mage killed as they decide to stop casting spells and rush the enemy line in a fury, whacking jerks with their noodle arms with their staffs. I suppose, well, that's for the regular archmages and such, but Lore Master of Hoeth, well, if they got to get into Feral Rage, that just enables them to do their sword work. Anyway. Alright, that went reasonably well. The main annoyance there was the Illyrian Reavers getting into Rampage. Well, frankly, the entirety of the annoyance was due to our army going into Rampage, whether it be the archers or the spears or the mage or the Illyrian Reavers, and the Rampage prevented a lot of us, or a lot of our units, from chasing down a decent amount of the enemy. On the bright side, however, we can force labor and allow that to kill off the enemy, and we are in range of this, and I forget, are we taking this or are we sacking it? I guess we could take it to tier 3. I don't know whether we'll keep it. There's a decent likelihood we could just trade it to Kotep, but I'll think about it. For now, though, we'll take it. Well done once again, Belharathor. Alright, Ironfrost Glacier and Legion of the Gore Queen destroyed at last. Going to rebuild Lost Splendor, and we'll build stuff. Well, actually, the basic stuff should be buildable in 1 turn, so we could, well, that one take 3, so we'll do that one after. Or do we want growth here? Well, either way, we'll want to wait for these. We'll want the public order, and go for the growth. Why not? Why not? Even if we trade it, it'll still, you know, be a couple turns. Anyway, you're gonna go here. Didrarus, I guess you're going to stay with Larian. Now, here's a thought. Belharathoi can move this way. Well, it actually might be faster to go this way anyway. I was just thinking, since we declared war on whatever these guys are called, the Deadwood Sentinels, there's a decent likelihood that they send their army to our undefended territories around the Road of Skulls, which, to me, says we should probably... Also, we should probably just build this. Just build it. And just build this. We don't really... Oh, actually, the fact that we have the War Hall here may be helpful to us. They're unlikely to be able to take Harganeth itself, but the Black Pillar is a different issue. Let's get to you... Oh, you're a builder. Go figure. Cancel, cancel. Let's get to you on the field. Then, what do you have? You have Spirit Leech, that's the one you need, and Life Leeching. Beautiful. Alright, then... what we'll do is we'll use a little bit of our global recruitment to get, let's say, just some basic elven archers. What do we have in terms of the defenses here? It's 2 and 2. It's 1 and 2. Oh lord, okay, that's not great. It's not great. Alright, how about this? We'll go to Yvres, because we can't confederate them yet.
What is it?
Oh, well, okay, we can confederate them, but they don't want to be confederated. Now that's a question. Do we attempt to confederate another one of the Elven factions, or do we just wait for the opportune moment to grab Ibras? Frankly, Tiranoc and the Eastern colonies don't really matter over much. They're not going to give us anything all that useful. So maybe we're better off just waiting for Ibras. Hopefully they don't take too long. Or, I mean, I suppose we could always save up the influence and confederate them in that manner. Oh, also Morella. And everywhere you look, there's enemies, enemies all over. Enemies here, massive force of enemies, the entire empire. We've got all of these guys to be concerned about. We got all of these guys, and oh, the massive Skaven empire. Yeah, we just don't have enough armies yet. I mean, we're building, we're working on it. It's a process, guys, it's a process. Now, Sin Dancer, you are not stuck here. You could cross over to the monoliths in these guys' territories, and maybe we should let you? Okay. Either way, we'll go to you. And then we'll go to Ivres, and then we'll build something cheap with 1 turn. Let's get a couple silver and guard like so. Decent use of our resources. And anybody else whose stuff we have no real use for? Karakadrin, the dwarves. There's no real need to go for cannons when we can switch to... when we can use our own Eagle Claws, and our Eagle Claws are better. Really, there's nothing the basic Dwarfen units offer us. There's some cool higher tier stuff, but again... Tier 2. There's nothing we could do about it. You have Tier 3, and you just unlock cannons and goblin heroes, both of which are inferior. Yeah, I don't think we're getting anything out of our dwarven allies in this campaign. It just doesn't seem likely, so we'll just make some use of their... troops. Can you get Longbeards? You gotta be kidding me, I can't even get Longbeards? Okay. Alright, we'll just use them as temporary troops that we can recruit anywhere at 1 turn. I guess we will do... Oh, Bugmans take 2 turns, don't they? Fine, just do a couple of the regular rangers, or actually the regular quarrelers are cheaper. Let's do the shielded ones, because there's a decent likelihood they'll have to have a shootout with the Deadwood Sentinels, and then obviously afterwards we can just delete them, as we don't really need them. Now... can we do the same thing with Morella? Goldtooth, we might actually use some Goldtooth stuff, so probably not from them. Ooh, also, before I forget. Ghosts of Pahwaks, ally missions. Exiles of Nehek, ally missions. Who is likely to die soon? Aldous von Drek. Gulator. Probably fairly close. Pokol Daka. I'm gonna say Gulator. Alright, and then what about you? Steinbeck von Karstein, Stein, Friso, Gearhoff. Let's take this guy. I don't know whether we'll be able to catch either one of them. As for you two, we don't really care about your missions, but we may as well take them just because. And the mission will be aborted from at least one of you. And Karakadrin missions, again, they don't really matter. They don't matter because we can't do anything about them. Alright, back to trying to do things in at least some kind of order. Global recruitment, wait. We should make some use of it. Let's go 1 spear and 1 archer here. And we'll do 1 spear and 1 archer here. Spear and archer. Did I do regular archer or heavy arrowhead here? We can just do the regular ones because, well, these guys aren't particularly heavily armored, even if they do attack. You... Heralds of Variel, no, we can't really take anything from any of these guys. Carcassonne, is there anything that we want from the Bretonnians? I mean, there's Pegasus Knights, but frankly, we have better aerial units than they do anyway. Knights of the Realm questing Knights, they do have Grail Knights, but we have significantly buffed up Dragon Princes. Yeah, maybe we just use the Bretonnian stuff. We just use some of the cheap basic stuff, like, for example, a couple Peasant Bows. Wait, do we have Peasant Bows with Pox Arrows? Prefer those. And we do not. We could do Battle Pilgrims because, well, we could do 1 Battle Pilgrims because they're unbreakable and then could distract a lot of enemies until, you know, they're destroyed, and then do a Peasant Bow. Alright, just temporarily we'll delete those units. They're just just emergency units in places where we are having difficult time actually getting units to defend. Architect Luaran, you're stuck where you are for one more turn. And I forget, I did switch you. Okay, good. Etelnai. And now, you would like to try to bait Vlad into attacking you. So you're gonna hit Dotternbach. Let's see if he's willing to go after Wissenberg. We're gonna trade it anyways, we don't really care. Unresolved. And occupy. Alright, Dragon Scale Shield, which actually isn't so bad despite being a common item. You, Alistar, are gonna grab Averheim and colonize it, and colonize your way all the way to Castle Drakenhof. Colonize. And we don't really need to build anything because we'll be trading it to our allies, so we'll just ignore it. Alright. It's all about restoring the Empire. Who is up next? That was Luaran, Gwyndian. You are still staying here until I have an army for you, so just be patient. You, Larishian, go to the shipwreck. And I would like to see whether Bellacorca. I don't see any army here. Explore the island. That was, Ranger Standard for you. Let's do, I don't know, Gleaming Pennant and Discipline Standard on the 2 Silvern Guards, since they are the tip of the spear, out of resolve. And we will, we're not so damaged that we really care about it. Let's ransom the captives for more influence per turn. As it's hopefully soon time to actually use influence for the purpose of, no materials, let's see, for the purpose of getting some court intrigue going. And now, Aldous von Drag probably doesn't have anything major, and frankly, Leoness is kind of weak.
Princess.
There's also these guys. Oh, Mirel, go to Shrine of Kurnus, and then sit there. And we'll see if they try to land a Toran, which is a distinct possibility as well. Alright, and yeah, Admiral Larishian, start moving down here. You may have to loop back around this way to all of these annoying enemy armies, as we don't have an army up here to deal with them really at the current time. Alright, back to trying to do things in order for the 50th time. Admiral Astakar, you were looking for islands, and, well, you will continue to do so. Felcar, go for you. Go for, I'm gonna say Captain's Chest. I was hoping for the speed rather than the wax-sealed rations, but better than nothing. And then March Stance, full speed stance out here. Then grab this island and then all the way through the sea lane to Cathay. And we can hope to get a sneaky capture of Fuchao from the Blessed Dread. Architect Enna, do you need to move while we have you? Okay, do these two. And, okay, we'll still need to build stuff here. What about Hag Grief? Yes, you need to go to Hag Grief. Go to Hag Grief. Reduce construction speed and cost, like so. And then Hag Grief can switch to, start collecting income. And switch to Banish Corruption for the additional growth. Now, Rakto Gorge has nothing that needs to be built, and, we can do you right here. Now, Architect Anna is pretty well positioned in Nagaron because she can essentially go to, at minimum, 2 provinces and help this stuff get built quicker. And let's go for the tower here. And let's go for the public order, and then let's go for growth first, and then the other stuff later. Alright, we're already at tier 3, not so bad. And then Architect Anna, you can go back to Nagaron now. Lovely. And, okay, that screwed up the order. So that was you, Vendrina. Finally, she's managed to reach Tyrion. I would like Tyrion to grab this island, and you two should be able to go towards it together. Go right here without suffering attrition. I didn't need to trade anything away from you, did I? Sort of. We'll deal with it in a second. Also, Alariel, before you forget, you get Brew War Protector of Life. A life-themed army, after all. Alrighty, and then Vendrina, you can transfer.
High Elven Archmage.
Or Vendrina, whatever. Exalted Illyrian Reavers and Co. take the Treekin, and that maxes out the army. I might delete the Exalted High Elven Rangers. Frankly, they're still going to be very, very fragile, and the thing is, they're so fragile, even the Exalted variant, that while they do damage, at least in the early game, decent, solid damage, we got a lot of good use out of them in the early game. Not the Exalted variant, but the regular variant. The thing is, in the late game, they're so fragile that I kind of tend to keep them away from combat, and not using them is essentially like, well, not using them, and I'd rather actually use them. Or use the slot. Plus, there's a decent argument to be made for getting a second noble into Tyrion's army, since his army is heavily reliant on his cav and buffing them up, and the nobles actually buff both the Silver Helms and Illyrian Reavers, and this is the only army that has a significant number of them. Anyway, L'Ariel, you know what, you need a couple more turns. We don't have the capacity to build your Sisters of Avalorn as yet, so what we'll do is, Architect Denna, you're gonna go here to Cairn Thel for a turn or so. L'Ariel, just grab this island before heading back up north. Why not? Free stuff. Who knows, we might find a lost cargo or materials at sea at some point. And approach a carcass. What was that? Banner of Avalorn will give us regeneration. Wait. L'Ariel, you have... Do you not have regeneration of your own? She has a regenerative aura, as I recall. Yeah, it's this one, Presence of the Everqueen, but it does not affect herself, meaning I guess we put the Banner of Avalorn on her? Go for it. And the Horn of Isha, rather, goes on one of these, and then same with the War Banner. And the Sisters of Avalorn, at least until we get the Regiment of Renown, Sisters of Avalorn. I'll resolve that and heal because you're at sea. Alright, good. And now head back this way. Alright, leadership and fighting at sea, free golden crown of Atrazar, and... okay, no items. Alright, all good. Full speed, and this will put you into Galleon's Graveyard and allow you to heal here. Lovely. I guess what we could do, since it'll probably be like 10 turns before we have the capacity for additional Sisters of Avalorn, is we could potentially either... well, I guess we could use these Treekin until we are ready to send them away. Yeah, you know what, that's probably a decent idea. I was about to say, we could also use some Gate Guard, which I guess we could still, in theory, do. You know what, recruit 2 more Gate Guard. And they can buff up the limited numbers of stuff. And you, Admiral Hulalian, I would like you to start recruiting your... Lothern Sea Guard. Am I going overboard with the recruiting this turn? I hope not, but we'll see. Start with the shielded variants. Alright. It's honestly, it's not that much of a gold save from using the recruiter as opposed to using just a random lord. This is not, it's at least not on the cheaper units. On the more expensive units, very much, yes. On the cheaper units, like the Lothern Sea Guard, not as big of a deal. Oh, speaking of recruiting, Teclis, 'tis time for the Swords Masters of Hoeth, and we'll just straight up build as many as we can. Beautiful. Oh, can't wait to get these guys into combat. Especially led by the Lore Masters. Tech Thieves? Oh, we made it through the pile of heroes and lords, have we? Good, good, good. Alright, well, let's move these guys. Not the growers, although they're technically only needed here for 1 more turn, so we should start moving them southward. Move you all here. They're all gonna go to the Fortress of Vorag.
What do you seek? Wending my way.
Yeah. All of you growers, come down here, please.
On the march.
It's kind of dumb, but you know what? As the faster that we get to our elite units, the better. Oh, and I was gonna use one of the growers to help this army, but clearly they didn't need it against Kolek, so we were just fine. It's all good. Alrighty, that's the growers. At least we moved them all. Influencers, you will continue settling influence. Success, good. And at rank 9, I think you're supposed to save your points to get increased trade and skier influence, I suppose. Or at the very least, I'm too lazy to deal with you right now. And next influencer, you. Go for Gorger Rock again. And success, and you do need the level because you're at the next point. Good. And Zatan the Black is hanging around here. Gotta watch out for him, influencer. You can go to Castle Templehof. Keep an eye out on all this as... Alistar's moving on the way. Rank 8 is not enough for the Skewer Influence, but it is enough perhaps to, I don't know, Skewer Trade. It doesn't really matter. And next. Obviously, this is what I usually do between the episodes, but sometimes, because of that random dragon encounter, we didn't really have a choice. You, I guess, are moving northward. I wonder if Greasy can take Blackfang without our interference or intervention. It would be swell. Actually, speaking of Greasy, here, just take the Valley of Horns. You willing to give us money for this? I didn't even realize we weren't in a military alliance with you. That's kind of surprising. He's still okay. He's currently fighting factions. I mean, it would mean more stuff. Yeah, fine, why not? Why not? And before we hadn't done it because it was somewhat likely to draw us into an unnecessary fight, but at this point... Oh. One issue. He and Karakadrin don't like each other. Why? Just because of aversion, that's it? But they're fighting the same enemies. Karakadrin's been locked in a fight with the darn servants of the Conclave this entire time. You know, we could do this anyway. We could fix their relationship with court intrigue, I hope. Nah, go for it. We certainly don't need more territory, let's be real here. Alright, that looks good. Next up... Disciple Oberman, you are supposed to get to Teclis, and, well, by the looks of it, he will beat you by 1 turn. In terms of recruitment versus you getting there. Huh, funnily enough. I guess we could have... Actually, I just realized we probably could have beat another lord. If we had traveled Teclis here, he would have traveled faster with full speed stance than Oberman would have by himself, and we could have gotten here just in time if we had just used the recruiter to recruit rather than deleting Teclis, but we did need to reset him anyway, so whatever. Anyway, Apprentice Muriel, you're gonna join that army soon. Next Tech Thief. I know Stead Dargoth doesn't really matter. And failure, oh, wow, come on now. At least you got 8 turns of a sort of a leeway. And I believe, at least I hope, we are good. Alright, we prepared for the next turn, at least to some degree. Let's do the building. More likely than not to run out of money. Tower of Lysaean. Now, that's the question. What were we going to do with you? Lothern is still going to be our military hub. There's a decent argument to be made for replacing the War Hall out of Lothern itself. On the other hand, there's another decent argument to be made out of getting the Gate Guard garrison up here. On the other hand, there's another argument to be made for making Vol's Anvil the military hub because it has both the exotic animal bazaar and the iron smelter, and will probably never generate a crazy amount of money, and just keep generating money instead out of Lothern. Which is certainly a decent proposition as well. You know what, in fact, let's go for the homestead. We're gonna make the place grow a little bit better. Good enough. Alright, Dragonhorn Mine and Mines, and Bitterstone Mine, let's level one of you. Silver Road. Oh. You know what, I probably should be going through every single one right now. Yeah, okay, no choice, guys. At least while we have the Invocation of Assyrian up and we need to make use of that construction time, we have to pay attention to what we're actually doing. You're good. You are good. Tyrant Peak looks okay to me. Lothern is good. Don's Landing. Gonna be like that for a while. Krund, you are... well, we just built you up. Deadrog Gap, you are fine. For 3 more turns. I gotta try to remember that. The Bleak Coast. 7 more turns. Okay, no dice. Silver Road. Yes, we will build the growth building, and I guess we can switch because there's nothing else to build here for the next little while. Banish Corruption yet again. Alright, Broken Teeth. We're recruiting here, so nothing we can do about you as yet. Crooked Fang Fort, you are fine. Blood River Valley, let's go for that. Cinnabar Mine. Dyes is the 3rd tier of dyes, is one of the few resources we're missing, so that we can actually get the research up and running for them, so we definitely need that. And are you able to build anything else after? Probably, so yeah, you're fine. Avalorn, you are good for a while as yet. Desolation of Asgore, you are good. You're not good. Build and build. Iron Foothills. Looks good to me. Torleer. Looks good. You are switching. Black Flood, Iron Mountains, fine. Plain of Dogs, fine. Eldar Spire, not so fine, but, well, 5 turns. Yeah, you can switch to Banish Corruption. And Death Pass, let's do, and this is once again why I try to do this between the episodes. Death Pass. Yeah, you're gonna keep building next turn. Okay, Wolflands, you're fine for now. Big Barter. 7 more turns. Oh my, it's gonna be a while. Alright, what about you? Karak Azul, tier 3, tier 2, meaning you can still build next turn, so you cannot switch your commandment. Demonium Hills. I would potentially like to build some stuff here. I was thinking about using the place as a sort of capacity location, even if it is a red territory, so we can still make use of it. And still upgrade the harbor, since more trade tariffs faction-wide. Yeah, why not? Upgrade you. It's gonna take a long, long time, but at least it also means that we don't have to deal with the admin all that much in this location. Also, go for the archive, just do it. Looks good to me. Alright, Broken Lands. Yes to the colonnade, and yes to the other colonnade. But generally speaking, this entire place will be fortified, and we'll most likely delete this colonnade in favor of building a... in fact, you know what? Delete it now. We're going to build the gate guard structure there. More defenses. Alright, you're fine, Safari. Just had to think for a second. Promenade and Estate, and the White Tower for Hoeth will be available next time. Toranlek, let's build up the colonnade and the other thing, and you're good. 8 peaks, you are not good, so we will wait. Nothing here. Dodenbach and Wissenberg, we will trade you. Great Ocean, obviously we don't care about. Svorak will be attacked by Azazel next turn. Presumably he can reach it. Presuming he can reach it, rather. You will build the estate. Buff up Venom Glade. And Circle of Destruction as well. Very nice. Alright, I know, lots of stuff to build here. We are definitely going to run out of money before we run out of stuff, but that's fine. Go for you, and then once again, Colonnade and Growth. And then you are missing... we could do the Elven Gardens, or we could do the money building. Doesn't really matter. Alright, let's do that. Spiteful Peaks, you are fine. Iron Frost Glacier, I still don't know whether we'll keep you, but we do want to wait until next turn for you. Death Gorge, let's upgrade you. We do have a unique structure there after all. And we'll go for growth and upgrade both those colonnades. Alright, Griffin Gate, we don't care about the gates. Forest of Gloom, we don't care about you. We don't care about the Haunted Forest. Oh, actually we do care about the Haunted Forest. It's ready to go up to tier 4, which means capacities. Haha. I knew there was a reason I looked here. Eastern Border Princes, Matorka, yes. We want that salt upgraded. I can't generate all the salt around here. Unicorn Gate is fine. Dune Glades, you are good for one more turn until Hag Hall goes up next turn. Eagle Gate, you're, well, ignoring the gate. Shrine of Kurnos and Alicia, I don't care to invest in you until you're in a safer position, so we're going to ignore you. Aberheim, ignored because you're being traded. Val's Anvil, ignored for now. South Yvresse, nearly there, guys. These places are far enough that I think we can invest in them reasonably safely, so let's do that, and then let's go for the colonnade here. Or actually, you know what, since you're right beside Lothern... Oh, we can't do the Elven Embassy anyway. Alright, go for the Elven Craftsman rather than the growth. And then the Road of Skulls. We could upgrade Spite Reach, or at least try. And go for it. And, oh, that was almost perfect money-wise. I don't know why I decided to exit the game. I was like, oh, we're done. Exit the game. Episode's over. Anyway, that looks good. We did upgrade the... Where are we here? Okay, we got your Lothern Seaguard coming in. You have to stay here because this guy's here, but you need to recruit next turn, so you'll head to Barrack Var, back to Barrack Var next turn as well. That looks good. Unassigned skill points, building upgrades. I assume we moved and done everything that we need to. Let's see who decides to attack us. I think if nothing else, since campaigns like this one are fairly rare with this sort of massive empire that both involves massive amounts of battles and massive amounts of administration, does make for certainly a very different campaign than others. Cetra wants an non-aggression pact. No, 99% likely we are going to attack him. Mostly because he holds the Black Pyramid of Nagash, but also because he's hated by all the lizards around him, and we like the adorable little lizards. Alright, Sylvania is in range of... Aha, they do bite the bullet and go... Or they do fall for the bait and go for the Wissenberg. And I think you're dead, Vlad. He might be able to cross the water, but I'm not sure. Oh! You're actually... This army's kind of garbage. Remember, we have defenses here, so we would have towers and we would have... I mean, really here it's basically one unit of Chosen that we have to concern ourselves with. Oh, and it's a Hellscourge variant as well. So they don't do any damage. Honestly, I think this is a waste of time. We just be able to snipe everything. Never mind.
They may live.
Never mind. Even look, even if we had lost this, which I sincerely doubt based on the fact that his army was at half HP and it was a pretty pathetic one. Okay, so this one is a little bit more riffy. And his, the Sin Dancer's army's HP is in decent shape, and that's a lot of demonettes. And also, I forgot that you had a bunch of items. Oh, we better not lose those. That would be unfortunate. Well, let's give it a shot. And this one, we're definitely fighting. Whereas the other one, even if we had lost, which I doubt we would have... Oh, hello. Wolfric's moving in. Even if we had lost, which I doubt we would have for like the 50th time, the Admiral's army would have just retaken instantly that settlement. So it hardly would have mattered. Go. Alright, slay them, try not to get slain yourselves, as it's a pretty big old pile of Slaaneshi, and the auto-resolves gave this a much worse outcome than that potential battle with Azazel, so this one most definitely worth fighting. Anyway, as is typical, we're going to be moving our mage towards the enemy lines, though it looks like since the enemy is attacking us, they will attempt to charge forth. The biggest issue is that the Herald of Slaanesh, or the biggest issue for them, is the Herald of Slaanesh will attempt to lead. She'll cast that Penumbral Pendulum, but completely wrong, and then just run straight into the line of arrows. She will, however, drop a nice Doom Bolt into the line of spears, dishing out heavy damage to them in combination with that Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, and taking about half HP off the unit of spears. Sacrificing an Allurus for a line, or half a line of spears, however, probably not the way to go. In addition to that, she decided to bring some Furies as support, but they simply get shot out of the sky, rather than being able to achieve anything. Alright, balance of power remains in the enemy's favor. I mean, that's still quite a few enemy units, and we're going to swap out the damaged spears and replace them with healthy ones at the front line. We still hold the hill, and we got a nice little bit of impassable terrain to protect one flank of ours, so hopefully that'll be sufficient. We're going to try to focus the demonettes down. They may be demonic and thus have additional physical resistance, but they are also quite vulnerable to range fire, and we should be able to drop a fair few down before they reach us. Alright, nice breath ability moving through the enemy. Lots of the demonettes will get back up, but they also took a fair bit of damage. Ooh, in 5 seconds the spear unit loses about half of its HP. Obviously, demonettes, whether exalted or not, are going to rip through spears like nobody's business. And in fact, by the looks of it, this unit of spears has to be sacrificed. 1 unit of spears for 3 units of demonettes as we overcast a fiery convocation, which demolishes all 3 of the enemy units, and actually leaves our spears slightly alive with a tiny sliver of HP as well. Lothar and Seaguard are protecting the back line as the enemy sought to flank us, but this was an obvious move, and thus we kept the Rangers and the Seaguard there to protect the basic units. Oh! Actually, the Rangers looking pretty good in their red clothes there. I like it. I keep because of the because of the Bugmans, I keep picturing them as having primarily blue and then a little bit of red, but all red is pretty nice as well. Anyway, looks like the balance power shifts to about 70% in our favor now, especially after the enemy's flanking maneuver failed and they lost all those demonettes. They do still have Chaos Spawn, a Chaos Sorcerer, and a Cultist fighting, but we should be able to whittle them down fairly decently. The Chaos Spawn in particular, due to towering over those spears, will be the targets of all of our range units, which are now freed up to attack them rather than be fighting those flanking demonettes. And it looks like with that, the enemy army decides that it can do no more. The last of the spawn will be brought down by arrow fire. The last of the demonettes will fade away, and this assault on our sort of fortified settlements lords fails. I also want to point out that the noble was fighting the, fighting the various lords and heroes throughout the battle, but he's on foot, so he's not going to chase him down. Anyway, speaking of chasing, we'll do a little bit of that, but off screen. There we go. I'm not so sure I'd call it a close victory, as the damage we suffered was pretty minimal, under 20%, probably closer to 15 of the damage we took. Mages with bound items are able to do a lot of work. 100,000 damage and 737 kills on Morella there. We could heal up, but we're in our own territory, so we can just ransom. And I assume that that army will escape. Tyrannok will ask for a military alliance, but who knows, maybe once we end the turn, we would actually be able to get a confederation with Batman and said, we get exactly 100 influence. There's not a hard limit to it, is there? Like, It could just be a coincidence. Anyway, settlement sacked, Wissenberg defeated Azazel for Moradrin, that's kind of funny. Dacious, Kidnapper, sure, Creator, Constructor, Seafarer. There's that Lichbone Pennant, but you don't need that. There's various lords, several lords I should say, that do. Food Taster, Missile Focus. Recruitment cost for missile units. Oh, it was just issued too, and well, I guess we gotta recruit a lot of missile units. Also, please kill Falsius. Unresolved. This is probably going to damage us. Probably did more damage to us in the battle. Hey, a little bit of help from our little Bretonian mini faction. Mini troops. What do we have here? Oh, for the love of more of these guys. Oh, just leave us alone. We really need to get, I'm probably going to need to get the Admiral out here, or one of the Admirals out here. I don't see Surtha Ek taking Karant Kar. I just don't. It's too heavily fortified at this point. And it looks like Karan Kurgan Tamer decided not to go for Toranlek. Alas, we cannot reach him. I guess what we could try to do is ambush outside of Toranlek. I doubt that he's going to try it. I want to be outside of... Not in the game, please. By the winds. Oh, why must it be difficult to click stuff? Yeah, his army is really pretty pathetically weak. Oh, he could be coming down here. That would be annoying. You're not at war with Bellicor, are you? Tyrannok? Any chance that we could get you into a war with Bellicor? Well, funnily enough, if we're taking... Oh, you do it for free. Yeah, do it. They'll just increase your chance of Confederation. Speaking of Confederation, Ivras still no, eh? Also, you probably want to take additional missions if we have them. Ah, yes, Heralds of Ariel, definitely. And how about Steinbeck? Carcassonne, I don't really care. Let's do Gulbranson, and then... I'm a Thane Frost or Jaeger. Who's more likely? Neither one. Also, we don't really care about Tyrannok, so... hardly relevant anyway. Are you able to? No, you are not. I mean, we could land at Conquata. I was gonna have Arathon to do it. Frankly, though, Arathon might need to deal with this whole situation that we got going on here. And, ooh, Heinrich Kemmler. Wellity. I think you done goofed, my friend. You really shouldn't be in March stance or full speed stance within sight of the Silverin Talon. So we're gonna destroy you in a second. I just want to see what's going on with Imrik since he didn't get attacked. Alright, so... Alright, so these three armies are sort of standing together, meaning if we were to attack Arcan, or this one, it would draw all three into the fight. I'm hopeful that we would... Where are you going? He's going to try to bypass us and go here. That's kind of annoying. We may need to send Darwinil up this way. I was gonna hopefully send her to deal with this, but there might not be much of a choice in the matter. We are building more armies here, and what is this guy doing? He's just sitting here, menacingly. Not much we could do about that. Ooh, I do see an Epidemius. I do wonder whether he'd fight, but if he doesn't, then we'd be stuck in... I was about to say attrition-y territory, but it's not. I'm willing to bet he wouldn't fight, though. Much of a coward. Vlad ran away from Wissenberg after sacking it, but leaving Nuln nearby so we could still take it and transfer it back to Elspeth, giving her back her capital. I wonder if it's worth more than Carrick-Asgaraz, or not Carrick-Asgaraz, Gristle Valley. As it might be nice to trade it to the Wood Elves so that they have this entire mountain territory. And frankly, Arguelon is of no alliance with us, and getting a defensive alliance might be the way to go. Anyway. Do we have anything that we need to do? You know what, let's do the quick fight with Arathond, and then I'll deal with the admin between the episodes, because let's face it, there's a heck of a lot of it. To Kemler, ye shall go. Frankly, it's going to be a fairly minimal fight, but why not? Let's see the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers do a little bit of work here. Not necessarily the Eagles doing all the work all the time. They deserve a little break. Plus, it's not like they should be dining on zombie and Crypt Ghoul flesh. Go.
Asurian wills it.
Alrighty, Asurian wills it indeed. I will never grow tired of Arathond and his army. They're all fantastic. And it's once again time to let the Silver and Salvo, the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers shine. Funny enough, the other day there was a discussion on the channel Discord that made me realize that Elven bolt throwers are vastly superior to dwarven bolt throwers, which I find pretty hilarious, and probably no source of arrogant words from the elves about the dwarfens' inability, or their engineers, or vaunted engineers' inability to build a proper bolt thrower. Because the dwarven bolt throwers are trash. But anyway, the other reason that we want to do this fight was A, there's a Kemler, and B, there should be a Krell somewhere. I assume there should be a Krell somewhere. I hope there's a Krell somewhere. There better be a Krell somewhere. Anyway, the enemy will continue to suffer the ministrations of our bolt throwers while Arathond gives chase to Kem, who is attempting to get away rather than face off against Arathond and his Griffin. Now we're gonna pop the Curse of Anra here, or try to pop out. There's Krell. To pop it on Kemler, while we continue covering overhead a little bit with the Eagles, just to spot these stalking Crypt Ghouls who are attempting to move towards us. Alright, well, if Corell is gonna run, the Griffin and Arathon are gonna barrel through the piles of zombies and head towards Kemler instead. Or Krell, rather, instead. Just combine them both into Kremler. Alrighty, and it looks like Krell has taken about, what, half of his HP in damage, while Arathond has taken no damage whatsoever so far. Once again, his stats are freaking absurd. They're absurd. He just needs a little bit of armor, but otherwise, yeah. And this on top of the fact that he has now poison, magical attacks, and regeneration. And all of those traits as well. Anyway, Kemler's just in for a bad day as soon as Krell goes down, who's similarly not having a particularly good time. The enemy does attempt to flank us on various sides with some Black Knights, but the Eagles simply rip them apart rather than allow them to reach the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, with the Noble in the lead, of course. And it looks like Krell. Oh. There we go. Krell will go down, and Arathon still completely fine. Huh. 6706. Speed of Rebirth. Oh, it only enabled as in melee. Okay. I was wondering why it stopped, but it's because Krell went down. Now it's time for Kemler, who attempts to escape again, but has taken about half of his HP and damage. He tries to call some ghouls to help him out, but, you know, I'd wager it's not gonna go so well. The zombies and such are continuing to make their way forward to our lines, and it looks like the Silvern Guard might have to kill off at least a few of them, but most of them have been obliterated by the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers at this point. And of course, same thing goes for I also really like this lighting. Same thing goes for the Crypt Ghouls, as our Eagles hovering overhead were able to spot them and prevent them from doing too much in terms of flanking us or getting to us where we couldn't see them. Kemler down to 15% of his HP, perhaps one more hit, continuing to attempt to escape Arathond, who's just mocking him and running around him at this point. And Kemmler is actually melting away as well, so technically Arathon doesn't even have to lift a finger, just sort of corralling him, running around in a circle and letting Kemmler sort of dwindle away. Beautiful. Anyway, last of the units on the field, a unit of... Damn, he's fast too. 143 speed, yeah. Go figure. Yeah, last of the units are moving towards us, a few of our Silverin Guard taking care of the last of the enemy zombies. And with that, we get ourselves a nice defeat trait with the fall of these two. Lovely. Alright, there we go. Just a little for fun fight. And besides, we had to have Arathon duel Kemmler and Corel, and clearly he didn't care at all. They did nothing whatsoever to him. He hits too damn hard, and he's too damn tanky, especially now that he has that regeneration out of the Seed of Rebirth. Plus the poison attacks, I'm sure, come in nice and handy as well. Kemmler spent pretty much the entire battle just running around, sort of thinking, I've made a terrible mistake. Yeah, in addition to that, the last defense, ironically named because they may be the last defense, but they're also the tip of the spear, got the greatest number of kills for the Silverin Guard at 159. It is Gwaihir's Beaks who win the Eagles, and the Reapers who win the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers MVPs. Nice job to all of you. Ransom those captives, down goes Kemmler, and hey, more spell resistance. Can't say no to that, man. Arathon has racked up so many traits at this point. Look at this guy. he's got as many traits as Imrik does. It's crazy. You are a legend, good sir. But anyway, with that, folks, we're out of time, and I'm gonna have to call the episode here. Next time, we'll probably land and take... Oh, we're just out of range of it, eh? By the looks of it, we might be just out of range of Musia. But we should still probably take it so that these guys don't have a presence here, and then move on to take Lyonesse after. Oh! I lied, we are in range of it. This is gonna hurt the Eagles, isn't it? Better not. No, actually it didn't. Even the game... Okay, at this point, even the game recognizes that, despite the fact that this is a full stack of Graveguard, essentially, that it's not going to do anything to these guys. I love it. I don't think it's the auto-resolve learning, but I'm still kind of impressed with it. Occupy. And, hey, another Kane's Ring of Fury. Beautiful. Those are always very nice. And once again, we'll do the Plague Ship thing and leave Musia. We'll heal in our own sea, and then we'll move to Lyonesse to knock out Kemmler for good, before probably looping back around to deal with Grommy, lest he attack and take Bordelot, which we actually do want to keep. Anyway, as I said, we're out of time, calling it here. Next time, we keep dealing with the just ludicrous number of armies that keep moving towards us, and hopefully establishing proper fortified borders. We are also probably going to start on all this. At the very least, Imrik with his half stack is going to be going after 3 full Tomb King stacks. So that should be fun. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.